barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place we ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Barifuna.
Jesus Christ, and I want to raise some things because the Bible is a book that should provoke you to think. You should not just go blindly into reading things, and some people just blindly, and this is a passage of scripture that I regard as, all scripture is special, but this one has some very special handle on it because it brings together some very important information. I don't believe Jesus Christ died on Good Friday again. I don't believe that, because of this very passage of scripture and its related verses. It's because 3 days and 3 nights, as Jesus Christ said, no matter how you count that, mathematically it is impossible. But there's an explanation, and it is our misconception because it talks about a high Sabbath. And you must understand these terms clearly. You must understand these terms clearly. What is a high Sabbath? You had the annual Sabbaths, where the Sabbaths that were celebrated. These were not the 7-day Sabbaths, and these Sabbaths were celebrated on the day on which they fell, and some of them were known as high days or high Sabbaths. When the year Jesus Christ died, if a check is done, you will see that there were 2 Sabbaths in that week as a consequence of the high Sabbath not falling on the day of the weekly Sabbath. So there were 2 Sabbaths, and you could see where the women went and quickly prepared the body when they did not break his leg, because the Sabbath was approaching. It was a high day. When you look in Luke that we're going to be looking at, it does not say, but John clearly tells you that the Sabbath they were talking about was the high Sabbath. It wasn't the Saturday. The high Sabbath, the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, this is the high Sabbath, right? According to Exodus 12 and Leviticus 23, 6 and 7, this day was a holy convocation where no customary work was to be done. It was an annual Sabbath. You see, this Sabbath, the one that prevented them, that caused them to exacerbate the whole process, was such a day. It was not the Saturday or the Friday evening, because the Sabbath starts from what we call Friday, what we refer to as a Friday evening, until Saturday evening. When John 19:31 says, "For that Sabbath was a high day," it indicates that the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread was starting. That Sabbath was a high day, right? So we have that clear. But why am I saying that? Why am I clearing that up? Because as we read, we will see something here. It says, "There was a good and righteous man named Joseph, a man of the Sanhedrin." You see, when things go wrong, when things are going wrong, you have a choice. You follow the others or you do what is right. Who had not agreed with their plans, you see, and action, he did not agree. He was from Arimathea, a Judean town, and was looking forward to the kingdom of God. You see, sometimes people misunderstand. I've seen great misunderstanding with people, and I think I've gotten to a place where I won't argue with people again, except for the scriptures. I used to like to try to show, well, you know what, it's really this. And maybe God wired me like that to talk about the scriptures. And was looking forward to the kingdom of God. He approached Pilate, you see now? Not only did he stand up from the Sanhedrin, but he approached Pilate. That's also a problem, because Remember, no, Pilate was the man who called. His wife told him not to, but he eventually went along. So going to these fellas now is putting yourself at risk, but Joseph goes. You know, in my secular job, I find myself in some position sometimes, I tell you, not easy, but in my mind, what I'm doing is right, and I stand up. This is what I see here too. This man, he's so convicted about right and wrong. He has chosen the side of right, and he decides, no matter where the chips fall, he will stand his ground. He approached Pilate and asked for Jesus' body. He asked for the body of Jesus Christ. So taking it, well, of course they gave it to him. Taking it down, he wrapped it in fine linen and placed it in a tomb cut into the rocks where no one had ever been placed. That is prophecy. That is prophecy. The scriptures clearly talks about that he's going to go in a rich man's tomb. Joseph of Arimathea was a rich man, and nobody else had ever been placed in that tomb. He said, when no one had ever been placed. You see, the Bible is telling us. Why is it saying this? Because this comes from what the prophecy says in the Psalms. Talks about this very situation. He said it was the preparation day and the Sabbath was about to begin. So now they're talking about that Sabbath. And as I said to you earlier, this Sabbath that they're talking about was the annual Sabbath that fell on a day other than the weekly Sabbath. And so that particular week when Jesus Christ died had 2 Sabbaths. 2 Sabbaths. So now that's why the women quickly went and they half prepared the body because time was running out. Remember, he died at 3 o'clock and the Sabbath starts at 6. The only 3 hours they have to go and ask that to take down the body, half prepare the body, take it to the tomb, prepare the tomb. All of that had to be done before 6 o'clock, which was when the Sabbath started. And so that's what they're talking about here. This was a high Sabbath. So the woman who had come with him from Galilee followed along and observed the tomb and how his body was placed. So then they returned and prepared spices and perfume, you see. So after they had done that, they returned. This is after that high Sabbath. Then they returned and prepared spices and perfumes, and they rested on the Sabbath according to the commandment. On the high Sabbath, what they did was to half prepare the body because they couldn't prepare the body properly. They went home, and then on the day between the 2 Sabbaths, what they did was to get the spices, and then they were going to come back early in the morning to prepare that body. Right? When they went there, they didn't find anybody. But we can check and see too. We're talking about looking at the scriptures and understanding what actually transpired here. And I would insist that you do a further study on this to be able to be clearer, because there are people who are going to come to you. We must be prepared to contend for the faith. There are people who are going to pick up these things, and they will try to go there, and they're going to try to confuse the person who does not understand clearly. You, as a Christian, you should know and you should be able to defend what the scripture says.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? I'm coming back to your heart.
Foundations. Your work must be grounded upon solid rock, and so should your faith. Join Pastor Louis Wade Jr. weekly for Foundations Bible Study where he goes deep into the Word of God with biblical teachings for better understanding.
A person might have potential inside of them, a desire to fulfill something, but the word of the Lord can bring that out of a person. Amen? So in the case of Gideon, though he felt that he could not do it, God had designated for him to do it. And so when God spoke the word through the angel, Gideon became who God knew he was all along.
Tune in on PlusTV Sundays for a new program or catch the repeats. We would love to hear from you. Write in and share your thoughts, prayer requests, or even pose questions you may have regarding the Bible passages. Foundations. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain.
So when we face God, you know something. When I think of the love of the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting. Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Bumapan Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens. Get growing, Belize.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know, nobody know. If I ever had to leave my home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize, be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize, sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
I'm coming back to your heart.
Foundations. Your work must be grounded upon solid rock, and so should your faith. Join Pastor Louis Wade Jr. weekly for Foundations Bible Study, where he goes deep into the Word of God with biblical teachings for better understanding.
A person might have potential inside of them, a desire to fulfill something, but the word of the Lord can bring that out of a person. Amen? So in the case of Gideon, though he felt that he could not do it, God had designated for him to do it. And so when God spoke the word through the angel, Gideon became who God knew he was all along.
Tune in on PlusTV Sundays for a new program or catch the repeats. We would love to hear from you. Write in and share your thoughts, prayer requests, or even post questions you may have regarding the Bible passages. Foundations. Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain.
So when we praise God, you know something. When I think of the love of the Lord.
Spice up your next event with professional lighting. Call 610-5679 and give your audience an experience they'll never forget. Proper stage lighting ensures stage visibility, motivates, and sets the mood of the atmosphere. We provide services for weddings, concerts, parties, dance recitals, and much more. Captivate your audience. Improve your production today. Call Shamax Productions at 610-5679 for quality and professional stage lighting.
Cyber Realty and Development is the leader in providing solutions to the current land crisis in Belize. For homeowners and investors alike, Cyber Realty is offering special deals on half-acre parcels in its new Emery Village development. Enjoy prime land off mile 37 on the George Price Highway at an unbeatable price. All you need is the initial down payment of $275 Belize dollars. Take advantage and reserve your half-acre home sites today. Emery Village. Join the community. Invest in your future.
Blessed Gardens is servicing home gardens across the country from the nation's capital and helping Belizeans reconnect with nature. We have everything you need for your home garden, so get growing. We have various types of soils: fortified soil, composted soil, potting soil, and pure compost for your garden. We have quality seeds and over 65 varieties of food seedlings for your garden. We even have organic insecticides available, EM soil treatment, and Polyshade for your excessive sun or rain. Blessed Gardens has all your garden solution in one location. Call 610-5679. Visit us at the Bummapan Market Plaza or enjoy our free deliveries across the country. Blessed Gardens. Get growing, Belize.
Do you enjoy learning and wanting to know more about Christ your Savior? Then join Phil Sanders in Search of the Lord's Ways every Sunday 7:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. on PlusTV for half an hour of beautiful hymns and Bible messages. Messages are repeated on Tuesdays at 1:30 and Fridays at 10:30 a.m. Search in the Word for God's will. Know more and do more for the God we love. In Search of the Lord's Ways with Phil Sanders is being brought to you by the Church of Christ in your area. Be sure to visit.
Mopping, tiles, furniture, and...
Miss, you don't need all of this, man. Only this you need. You make 4 out of this. And it's cheaper than all of them put together.
I want it.
Green Clean. All your cleaning needs in one bottle.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go?
7:40 in the studios of PlusTV, and we're starting a little late this morning, but it is Tuesday morning, and it is certainly a pleasure for me to be here. We are live, and there's much to talk about with regards to the nation of Belize or economic situation, the issues of inflation, fuel, crime, all of these things. We see that the current administration, the second administration of Honorable Johnny Briceño and the People's United Party have presented their budget for 2026-2027, and the budget is currently being debated in the National Assembly. And so yesterday was the first full day of presentations, and we know that whenever the budget is first presented, the Prime Minister stands up and he gives an explanation of how the last year went and where the country is economically at this time, and then some of the big projects that are expected in the next fiscal year, which runs from the 1st of April to the last day of May. And so budget speeches are done and budgets are presented in March, so that 1st of April the books open and new spendings begin. And so yesterday, because the Prime Minister has already given his presentation, then it was the turn for the leader of the opposition to give her own interpretation on what is taking place in the economy, in her constituency, and in the nation of Belize. The Minister of Lands, of Natural Resources, who is also the Deputy Prime Minister, also spoke. The Minister of Health, Minister of Education. So quite a few ministries have spoken already. And today, which is the second day of the debate, beginning at 10 o'clock this morning, we see that another set of ministers are going to give their speech. And so let's start off with what the weather report is saying for today. So today is March the 24th. And again, today is the second day of budget debates. The general situation calls for fair and mostly dry conditions to continue over our area for the next 24 hours. The 24-hour broadcast is for forecast is for sunny skies today with a few cloudy spells tonight. Tonight's skies will be partly cloudy. Only light isolated showers can be expected. Marine conditions, winds are blowing from the east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots with sea state choppy and waves 3 to 5 feet. Look at temperatures. Temperatures are slowly going back up after the cold front that passed late last week. So inland, the high is expected to be 88 degrees Fahrenheit with the low being 64. On the coast, 85 degrees Fahrenheit will be the highs with 76 as the low, and in the hills, 76 will be the highs with 59 being the low, which would have been much earlier this morning. The outlook for Wednesday and Wednesday night is for an increase in cloudiness along with a few showers and isolated thunderstorms that will develop mainly along the coast and offshore. So that is the weather report for today. I'm going to ask my technician to pull up the clip of opposition leader Tracy Panton so that we can hear a little bit about her, of what she delivered, and then we are going to have a discussion. Of course, Ms. Tracy, in her deliberations, ensured that she gave thanks specifically to the Prime Minister for ensuring that $10,000 per month was given to her constituency, the Albert Division, to take care of the needs of the constituency itself. Also, she indicated thanks on behalf of several students that had received financial assistance, medical assistance, etc. Now, I believe that was a way of showing that Ms. Tracy is a different kind of leader, a leader that does not hide the reality, which is assistance to the constituency that she is a part of. She is not afraid to say where good has been done, to attribute that goodness. And then she still stood by her role as leader of the opposition to state areas in the budget, as well as areas in the economy that were underperforming or not doing well, or in the case of inflation, stating that the numbers are not accurate. As it relates to employment, she did the same as well. And so we see a balanced approach in her presentation. Also, the fact that both the speech from the Prime Minister as well as the speech from the leader of the opposition tend to be keynote speeches, and so they take a very long time. And so leader of the opposition, Tracy Panton, had a chair or a stool, a piece of furniture that came out to assist her, delivery, because of the long time that she would have to be on her feet. Now, yes, it is true that in the political arena and the budget debate is a highlight of our democracy and the democratic process. This was looked at as a sign of weakness or a sign of it was highlighted by the government side, you know, as a weakness. And so Tracy had to respond, leader of the opposition, Honorable Panton, had to respond sharply with that back and forth. But all in all, the speech is a keynote speech. And so it's as if she was taking a licking as the leader of the opposition, and rightfully so, from the government side. But by the end of the day, it appeared that she was taking a licking also from members of her own side, from the United Democratic side. And when I say members, I don't mean members of parliament, but members of the political party, because they were saying that she should not have thanked the Prime Minister for the aid that she is getting to for her constituency. Well, I believe that where things are done right, it is fair to say this is being done, because under previous governments, and particularly under the former administration of Dean Oliver Barrow, the constituencies that did not vote for the UDP, those constituencies did not get assistance. They did not get the kind of assistance that leader of the opposition, Tracy Panton, is getting when the Johnny Briceño People's United Party administration is in. So it does mark a difference. It does mark, in my opinion, a maturing of the democratic system, both for the government to give the opposition constituencies financial assistance. That is a growth in the political life of our country. But it is also a growth in the life of our country when the leader of the opposition is able to stand up and confirm that aid is being received and is thankful and grateful for it. So I congratulate both the People's United Party for ensuring that all Belizeans, regardless of who they voted for, were not punished through this constituency vote, but were given it. And I congratulate also the leader of the opposition for standing and acknowledging such. So I think that Honorable Tracy Panton does not need to listen to the rhetoric coming from her own party. I do not think that it is a sign of weakness, but it is a sign of strength that she is able to make this acknowledgement. And I congratulate the government for making such funds available, not only to the People's United Party constituencies, but also to making funds available to the opposition. So let's listen to that first video, and then we can talk a little bit about the specifics of that speech.
The reality many of us are facing, Madam Speaker, is unmistakable, palpable. Too many of us are working harder than ever, yet feeling as though we are falling further behind. In a budget the size of $1.92 billion in expenditure, an ambitious one, we search in vain for a comprehensive strategy aimed at reducing cost of living for families, the cost of production for small farmers and local producers, the cost of doing business for young entrepreneurs. It is as though, Madam Speaker, putting these estimates together, the government was completely out of touch, even aloof to the emerging global economic pressures, and even worse, impotent in finding innovative solutions to the hardships we continue to face. If, I repeat, if the prosperity is the objective of this budget, then surely prosperity must be felt where it matters the most, in our pockets. The Prime Minister also proudly boasts that inflationary costs had fallen to 1.1% this year, which does not accurately represent what Belizeans are feeling in their pockets for basic commodities. In the last few months, everything from fuel at the pumps to water rates to electricity rates to grocery items to rent expenses to property and trade license fees have all seen marked increases. Every Belizean is singing the same tune. A family of 4 can no longer live on $100 per week. Nowhere in his speech, Madam Speaker, did the PM proclaim that our Belizeans are enjoying more purchasing power.
Right, so the budget speech of the Prime Minister highlighted the growth of the economy, reduction in the GDP to debt ratio, the fact that the People's United Party had moved the debt to GDP ratio from like about 130% to somewhere around 70%, which is a far more acceptable number. The number that countries consider to be safe is about 60. So I think the Belize debt to GDP ratio is in the high 60s. So there is still more to go, but it is considerably smaller than where it was when the People's United Party came into power. However, that is like 5 years ago. That's 5 years ago. And so what are the new realities, that the government has to face economically, that has to be dealt with, because these are the things that Belizeans are struggling with at the present moment. And I think that Tracy was able to highlight things that Belizeans know to be the reality on the ground. So there is always this tension between what the government agencies are collecting data by data, unemployment rate, the growth of the economy, the debt repayment, projects that are being carried out in the country, and then the opposition more focusing on how does it feel to live in Belize at this time. How do you feel about the job that you have? Are you working? How do you feel about the prices that you pay at the gas pump? How do you feel about the they going into the store and purchasing groceries, and how much of that is affecting your day-to-day life. What is your quality of life? So the government side is going to focus on the numbers that tell the story. Meanwhile, the opposition is going to focus upon how does that feel on the streets. And so that is a normal way of addressing the budget. And for us in the Senate, we have to look both at, well, and for us, and I'm just saying, well, I should say for me as an independent senator within the House, I have to look both at the numbers that the government is saying the economy is performing, and the numbers as it relates to loans and repayment. And then I believe I also have to look at how the people are feeling it on the street. And so I don't come to the economic issue as a political issue, but as a person who live in the country, as a person who is a pastor over a sizable congregation, where we can know and feel and understand what the people within that congregation are feeling as it relates to the economy. So is it true that water rates have gone up? Yes, like cost of water, cost of light, cost of telephone calls, etc. Fuel at the pump. I think just last week we were talking about the news that tacos was moving from 3 tacos in your plate to 2 tacos. Or one of the ladies was saying, you still get 3 tacos, but you have to put in one additional shilling for every dollar tacos that you purchase. And we know chicken has gone up. And then the most recent one is fuel. So you can imagine that the government was forced to increase the fuel price at the same time while it is trying to convince the nation that things are good, that the economy is good, and that Belizeans have a very good quality of life. So that fuel price increase was really necessary, because the government would not have wanted to really take up fuel prices at that particular point. They were forced to do it by the economic realities that are taking place around the world due to the war. So essentially, government is presenting this budget at a very uncomfortable time. And so the leader of the opposition did say that yes, fuel prices had to go up, and attributed it to the war, that it was not the government's fault per se. But at the same time, she doubled down on the fact that gas prices are extremely high, because 44 to 48% of the fuel price that we are paying is taxes. Now, the government is saying that they have not taken up taxes. So prices are going up, but taxes have not gone up, is what the government is saying. But if the price of gas goes up, then even though you have not raised the percentage of tax, you have not increased the percentage, but by increasing the cost, then the amount of money that you collect from every person goes up. So the tax still gone up. You still collect more tax. Your tax percentage did not go up, but you are collecting more tax, because if the tax on fuel is 48%, let's use that as the number, then the higher the price of fuel goes, you are chopping 48% of that, so you are getting in more revenue. And so Tracy Panton's argument is that while Prime Minister Johnny Briceño was out of government and in the opposition, he was the one talking about gas prices. He was the one that was feeling the pain on behalf of the Belizean people. He was the one that was leading and agitating for government to take down the price of fuel by $2. And so she's saying now she is now doing the same. Of course, the difference is that Johnny Briceño was on the street, so Tracy Panton has to get on the street. Beside just saying it in the house, it's also what happens on the street. So a speech is only effective to the point that it carries that momentum behind it. And in Guatemala right now, yesterday, the road between Petén and Guatemala City was blocked by the transporters. It was blocked by people who use the highway. Why? Fuel prices too high. So in Guatemala, in Petén, that advisory came out. We knew about it from the night before, that Guatemala residents were getting ready to block the roads. And they actually did block the roads yesterday. Whether it is going to continue today, I don't know. But there is the speech, and then there is the action, the activity, which emboldens the speech for say, okay, well, the UDP or Honorable Tracy really mean what they say about the high cost of living caused by fuel prices, and she has brought out her people into the streets to be able to demonstrate that. So Tracy is, Honorable Tracy is demanding a $2 discount, which is the same thing that Johnny Briceño did when he was in opposition. One of the statements that the Right Honorable Dean Barrow used to say is, we campaign in poetry and we administrate in prose. I will never forget the general idea of his statement. In other words, when we are in opposition and we are campaigning to go win, we speak in this flowery language. We embellish our words. If things are bad, we say it is very bad. We poetically and strategically use our words to get your attention so that we can go into office. But once we are in office, then you just get it straight. You just get it straight. We get it straight for true. Especially when it comes to fuel. But in my opinion, and I have said this before, that when it comes to gasoline, kerosene, butane, when it comes to fuel prices, we have high fuel prices. But the reason why we have high fuel prices is because it is the best way, the easiest way to secure hard currency for any government to run the country. Right? So Belize is not looking for oil. Belize has not found oil recently. It doesn't look like Belize is interested in oil. Oil is what sets the economic wellness threshold around the world. Belizeans want better health care, free education, better roads and infrastructure. Where will the money come from? I keep asking this question. if we do not want to extract the resources, the natural resources of our country, if we do not want to do logging at a very, very high rate and replant and do the sustainable measures that are necessary, right? You cannot do new things with old money, because old money is tied up already in the current realities of your economy. The realities of your current economy. So, sugar money accounted for, tourism money accounted for, livestock money accounted for in the economy. Government is working with the taxes of those things already. Shrimp, citrus. You know, when we were small, younger, when we were very young and in school, you would draw a map of the country of Belize, and then you would put sugar in the north, you would put cattle in the west, you would put commerce in Belize City, Belmopan, you would label that as the capital, administrative capital. In the south, Dangriga, you would put citrus, and in PG, you would put rice. That's the economy that was handed to us by the British. Because I was born in 1970, by the way, my birthday was on Sunday, and I celebrated a wonderful time with my family. But the education system that we went through as children, whenever we looked at the country of Belize, that is how the country looked. You look any different to you? 2026, it looks any different to you? We can say that, and bananas, you would say bananas and citrus would be Stann Creek District, and you would say rice for Toledo District. Rice is struggling in PG. It's trying to make a comeback in the Toledo District. They're trying to do something with cattle, I know, because we've worked with the education aspect of the Belize Livestock Association. Stann Creek, citrus is down. Bananas, still holding strong. There was a time when Independence Era was known for mangoes, exporting mangoes. Don't see it as much now as I used to see it as a teenager. So scratch mangoes, banana is doing well, and citrus trying to make a comeback, not doing well at all. All right. Somewhere along the line, we added shrimp, but we've always had that fisheries with conch and lobster not doing well. Then we come to livestock. Livestock appears to be doing well and slowly growing with our new agreements with neighboring countries. Commerce, we've probably added, between being from a child to now, we've added tourism, we've expanded in tourism, and so that's something that would not have been on our charts when we were children. That's on the charts now. So kudos. We can't say the British gave us that. That was something, the tourism industry is something built distinctively by the Belizean people in collaboration with foreign investors, primarily from the United States. So we have that. Now, of recent, we added the banking. It's not doing very, very well, but at least we have a banking sector that's not just local, but a small, like there are a couple of international banks functioning out of Belize. And then we added of late BPOs, which is service oriented. Sugar is not doing well. You can see that once again, the Caneros are in constant turmoil and fights with the government and the industry. So whenever an industry cannot function peacefully, you know, there is going to be an economic and financial effect. So back again to this entire picture of Belize and its economy. The only thing that the government really talks about is economic growth. In other words, how is shrimp doing? How is citrus doing? How is banana doing? But there are no new money. No new money. So somewhere around 2000, 2005 or so, then we had petroleum when the Spanish Lookout field was found, and then we had the Never Delay field. Both of these were by B&E. And then those fields were relatively small fields, and so petroleum appeared in the budget, and then it disappeared. And then we got that assistance from Petrocaribe. So Petrocaribe wasn't Belizean oil, it was Venezuelan oil, but it gave us again a little boost, and then it disappeared. So what am I saying? Petroleum. What am I saying? I'm saying the natural resources of our country exploited to where we have something new in the budget, a new income. There is no new income in the budget. And I'm not just saying that for 2026. I am saying that for almost a decade. We have BPOs, and it is contributing to employment. You imagine the employment numbers if we did not have the BPOs. And then remember, BPOs now are under the microscope because of changes in legislation in the United States, and then the changing of technology with the coming of AI, what effect that is going to have. So then what are you left with if you want health care and you want free education, which, by the way, are not bad things to want, they're good things to want, because if you have a healthy, educated society that is supposed to produce what? New industries, entrepreneurs, new services that your country didn't offer before. So you pump money into health. I agree, you pump money into health to have a healthy nation, and you pump money into education to uplift the standard of living and the thinking of your people and the creativity of your people. But then the problem is we are not seeing it manifested in new industries. You know, we import our bicycles. We import everything. Everything. So we don't make our own ketchup. So our tomatoes have not made it to ketchup. Our citrus has, in a sense, made it to orange juice in Belize. So you still could buy juice that it cost stand with orange from Belize, and we have, I mean, Big H is gone. We have Caribbean Pride, I think. We have these companies that are turning the orange juice into a product, but that product is not going beyond Belize. It's not in Chetumal. It's not on the shelf in Melchor. It's not moving as a finished product. So we are importing all of these things. We still import. If you take a look at our planting chips, they now leave see-through plastic bag. I've seen of late that there's a small business that's trying to package it in an appealing way. But again, that's still that Belize. So your health and your education are to be focus of any government which produces a better individual. See that health care in itself does not contribute to GDP, except of maybe all of these hospitals that are now coming on stream because of NHI. But NHI is government money anyway, it's tax money anyway. And then you have the education, which in itself is just to prepare a better person. Then that person is the person now, like in Singapore, your human resource, which creates all of these new industries which government taxes and it grows the economy. So our economy cannot support these initiatives unless you tax petroleum, unless you tax gas. Because you should have made the tax petroleum if you find petroleum, but we not look for it. That's what I'm saying. So your tax is going up. Your income tax might not go up. Your income tax, your sales tax might not go up. You know, GST is still 12.5. Because if the 12.5% go up, we are quarrel. If your income tax go up, we are quarrel. So where can tax go up without the people quarrel? It's gas, it's gasoline, it's gasoline. So whenever the teachers protest that they need more pay, where will that money come from? When the public servants say we want more pay, where will that money come from? It's at the pump. It's at the pump. Because the pump, the gas pump, is the readily available money. And the PUP know that, and the UDP know that as it relates to those who are in authority over the finances of the country. Money has to come from somewhere. Money has to come from somewhere. So money will either come from a growing economy, and an economy will grow slow if there are not new sectors that are added on. It will grow slow. So the question is going to be asked. The question is going to be asked because maybe 4 or 5 people will stand up in the lower house and ask the hard questions, because those on the government side will be singing the praises and saying how good things are, and it's the opposition that will be saying here are the problems in the economy. It will really be in the Senate then, where 4 independent senators plus 3, which is 7 individuals, will have to get up and point the issues that are taking place in the country. Because the government senators will, again, applaud the good that is taking place. And there is good that is taking place. We can see it all around us. But our economy is not growing fast enough to shoulder the poverty, the lack of development, and inflation, which is the cost of living. The cost of living. So these annual debates of looking at our country and looking at the performance are very important for us. And we need to pay attention to it. But cost of living is going up. Things are far more expensive. All right? So, be it rice, be it sugar, there are certain things that government hold down the price for, right? These zero-rated items, government tries to hold down the price by saying we will not tax these. So they are not taxed for GST. That's one way of trying to keep inflation at bay, or even as inflation is going up, we at least know that the poorest of the poor will be able to have these things to eat, these basic things. But the prices of many zero-rated products are still going up. They're just zero-rated for the tax. But if they're coming from abroad, if the price moves upward abroad, they are going to move upward at home. So where is the ketchup? You know, where are the Belizean-made products? If I go over to Chetumal, I can right now buy products that are made in Mexico that will be cheaper than the imported products that are made in the US or made somewhere else. So there's still a wider variety of products available in Mexico that will be far cheaper than Belize because it's made in Mexico. It's not imported. So when you look at the stuff that's imported in Mexico, you will see that their prices rival the price of Belize because we are importing it. So the prices are roughly the same. So if you are going to look for many of these products out there, you're going to say, oh, but I think I might go get a better price at Belize, or it costs the same, or if I pay customs, then it becomes too expensive. But the products that are hecho in Mexico, now Mexico is a very, very populated country, and we are not as populated. But you reduce inflation when you produce more things locally. We are not producing more things locally. We are not. And then inflation goes down also if you find new money, products that are a service or a resource that you are tapping into now that you were not tapping into before. We start to export water. Belizean water is exported, for example. Things that never existed before. Then that brings in a tremendous amount of finances. So one, we begin to produce more locally. Number two, we begin to export more things nationally. Or number three, we have new industries, like maybe we find petroleum or something like that. And then that grows your economy so that you can have free education and free health care. Other than that, it's going to be these invisible taxes through things like gasoline that are going to affect your nation. So PG look the same, Dangriga look the same, Fami smile. So you can see that the economic growth is not happening in those communities. Yes, the Mennonites have come in because maybe first you used to have to come to Belmopan, come buy, or go to Spanish lookout to buy. But now Spanish lookout is going to you. They're going to you, right? So you will look in Stan Creek and Toledo district, and you will see Quality Poultry is now there, Caribbean Tire is now there. But that is that a growth in the economy? Maybe, but it would only be small, because these were people that were buying those products in Spanish lookout or in Belmopan, but now the product is coming closer to you. That will have some advantage, but it's still not very big. It's still not very big. So then what? Belize will continue to depend upon loans and grants, and then gasoline. That's really what you have, right? So, all right, we'll take a break, and when we return, we will look at a couple of the other conversations. We definitely want to look at what's happening in the lands department, because I mean, what we have to sell the land to the international people and get money that way? No. So we need to find a resource that the world needs, where Belize can supply that, and we can grow our economy. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. It's 8:30 and it's the PlusTV. We'll be right back after these messages.
Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the isles and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace.
I want to share why this work is so urgent. My mother is 75 years old. She's blind. She has lived by the sea for 75 years. Today, my mother cannot see the stones you guys are placing to protect her home. But she can hear. Every night she sits in her home and hear the waves beating at her door. To most people, that song is peaceful. But to my mother, the song is a countdown. It is the song of the land she loves being stolen inch by inch. For years, the song has been a dark shadow over our lives. I look at our students here today, their bright little faces. We need your help to make sure that when these children go up to be 75, they are sitting in their homes and aren't afraid of the sea.
The whole design of the T is to catch the sand as it walks past Monkey River. Literally what you see is the sand comes from the river, goes out to sea. The sea was clogged with mud and sand, so the river now pushed the sand out like it used to. One, we have less flooding. We have a lot of drainage on the way to Monkey River. The water is not there, so. But as you can see, we moved the sand over. Now nature will walk it down with time.
There is an area between the burial ground and where the village is that needs some attention as well, and so it will be addressed right away, since PM has approved some additional finance to continue the project in Monkey River.
I am very proud that Minister Osman Martinez, the area representative, along with Oscar Kenya, they saw the necessity, one as the area representative and one as the Minister of Rural Transformation. And then along with the support from my office that we managed to do this, showed us that we just need to put a little bit more investment and we can do the entire area. So I said, you know what, give me an estimate, we're going to do it. We are going to save Monkey River village and going to make it into one of the more beautiful villages in the country.
A year ago, on March 17, 2025, Builders Hardware introduced something new for Belize, our online store. For the first time, customers could explore thousands of products, place their orders, and complete their purchases entirely online. Whether you're nearby or in another district, you can browse what you need, place your order, and have it delivered directly to you. And for those who prefer to pick up their items, our smart lockers make it quick and simple. Just scan your code and your order is ready. Every day, more and more people across the country have begun turning to the platform as a faster and more convenient way to shop with Builders Hardware. Along the way, many customers have also found added benefits online, from special website offers to rewards for those signing up for the first time. All of this is just another step towards making our products more accessible to communities across Belize, bringing our store closer to you wherever you are.
Smart for everybody.
Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Calling. Double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Cause me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. Creole and Garifuna, Mestizo and Maya, living in peace. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize. If I ever had to leave Belize, if I ever had to leave Belize, where would I go? Where would I go? Where would I spread my bed? Where would I lay my head? Nobody know. Nobody know. If I ever had to leave me home, no other place I ever roam could be like Belize. Be like Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me Sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the barrier reef. I love me Sweet Belize.
Thank you so much for us here in the second half of our program. We are grateful to those of you who are watching us on stream, be it YouTube or on Facebook at PlusTVBelize.com. And of course, PlusTV Belize YouTube and Facebook channel, our app, PlusTV Belize app, and then of course those of you who watch us on the cable system across the nation of Belize. We're looking at the economy this morning. Kerm is not here with me. Normally we are together on Tuesday mornings, but I'm able to, I give God thanks to be here this morning and to share with you just some of the thoughts on the Belize economy. The gas situation is beyond PUP and UDP. When they are out of office, as I said, they will call for lower prices. But when they are in office, they know that one of the primary ways to get hard coal cash is at the pump. Because you will go to the pump. You will go to the pump. You could cuss to high heavens about the gas price. You will go to the pump and you will fill up, because without it, you cannot do your work. All the buses, if you're not doing private transport, there's public transport, there's busito, there's taxi. They will fill up at the pump. That's one that's going to happen. And so gas is a major way that hard coal currency comes in to run the affairs of the nation. So in the last segment, I was talking about the need for new ideas, new services, new resources to be exploited, and new sectors of the economy to come alive, which is where you will find true growth. True growth cannot just be you to wait for more tourists come in, come find out about Belize, because tourism is very fragile. The pandemic killed tourism and it took several years for it to come back. When I looked at the numbers for Kikaka, when we were trying to convince them to not turn to marijuana as an alternative, you could clearly see that Kikaka had not rebounded to its pre-pandemic days. So tourism is very fragile. The war in Iran is going to affect tourism. And then, as I said in the last segment, the coming of AI, artificial intelligence. Listen, artificial intelligence is amazing. It is amazing what is being done in that field. That is not a field that Belize has embraced. So there's a new technology in the world. Solar, Belize now embraced that. Internet from the sky, satellite internet, Belize now embraced that. So we want to claim that we are running with the big guys, but we are rejecting or not utilizing the technologies that the big guys are using. And so how we don't want the oil, right? We don't want to do so many things, but we still want these free services, and we still want certain types of development, though no new money is coming in. All right. Now let's talk about the Deputy Prime Minister's speech. We're going to take a very short clip from his presentation. We know that land has been distributed across the nation of Belize. We know that the clinics have been held where the lands department started going out into the public, and we know also that the government has a housing program for the poor, single mothers, etc., the elderly, etc., and that is a program that never existed under the United Democratic Party, a housing program. So this administration has a housing program, but then again, you know, that was last year in a sense of the program continues, but I will be arguing that there is the need for more housing programs where people in higher income brackets, you don't have to low rate yourself and try some poor, forget one of any single room house, when there can be another program where you're not paying $100 a month. Maybe you could pay $300 a month. Maybe you could pay $500 a month. But there is a program for you as well, because house is real estate, and land that is being distributed by our Deputy Prime Minister under his portfolio, and he's been doing a very good job of that. These are ways how we climb individually out of poverty. And some of you may even be so hopeful, your way of thinking changed to the point where maybe you start a little business out of your house or in your backyard or something to that effect to generate income. So let's take a look at that video clip from Deputy Prime Minister Cordell Hyde.
The leader of the opposition had a lot of things to say, but what she did not mention is that she did not say is this side of the house we have not raised taxes. We have not raised taxes in any of the last 5 years. Absolutely no taxes. Even though when we came into this honorable house as the government back in November of 2020, the debt to GDP ratio for this country was the 6th worst in all the world. It was 135%. We've not done any of those things. What we have done though, we've provided free education like never before. I know I'm hungry or no, but you know, have to help me, all right, because I'm hungry too. We have extended NHI all over this country like never before. That's better, that's better. We've been building cement houses like never before. We have created jobs like never before.
Apparently we have only a very small clip from Cordell Hyde, but he was also sharing the numbers and of land distribution. And as I said, we can see that now there is something else that is taking place within the land or real estate business in the country of Belize that we had not seen before. I mean, say never before, but where there have been more subdivisions that have been approved. So you have in various parts of the country. I was seeing a subdivision advertising on social media from Siltgrass in the Stann Creek district. You go north, south, west, east, and you see that there are subdivisions that you can get a property and pay on a monthly basis. I think that that is a major development because the subdivisions are getting approved faster, and these are not subdivisions that you're selling to Belizean Americans or American investors. They are literally priced at a rate where you as a Belizean can purchase one of these properties. And so you have the government that is distributing land, and then you also have the approval of more subdivisions where Belizeans who either already have land or you can't get a land from government, but land is available. And that is a very, very good thing, because now you have a choice where you can take $250, $300, $400 a month if you have that as extra cash. If you have it as extra cash, not many people do. But instead of putting it in the bank or having it do nothing, you can put that money into purchasing one of these properties. So that if you are able to put $300 aside per month, then it's better to put $300 aside for a piece of land than to take $300, put it aside, and just put it in the bank. Because the value of land in Belize rises significantly per year. So land is a very good investment. So the fact that we have lands available for sale, separate from lands being distributed by the government, this is a very good thing. So there is a very good environment in Belize as it relates to land. Because either you're applying for land or you could actually go and visit subdivisions, and there are now more real estate agents and companies than ever before. So it shows that that opportunity is there. And then by reducing, you don't necessarily reduce the price of the land, but you are reducing it to a monthly payment system. Then that is very good, because you can still use the word more affordable, right? So some people quarrel with the court's model, but if the refrigerator costs $1,000, you cannot come up with the $1,000, then it doesn't matter that the refrigerator is $1,000. But if it's let's say $2,000 you will end up paying. Let's just say, but you can pay $100 a month, even though you will pay more. You can now have a refrigerator that you could not have before because you couldn't come up with the $100. And then there were companies where you did layaway. You don't hear about layaway anymore as much as before. So you had to be giving the company $100 every month until you reached the price of the refrigerator. So you could not enjoy that refrigerator for a whole year until you made the money. But with the court's model, you are able to get the refrigerator now and pay as you go. So the refrigerator could be paying for itself, because you could start sell Ideal, you could start to sell popsicle, choco banana, and then that product that you never had before. See why I talk about new money? This is what I talk about new money. It's not really different from running a household like running the country. It's a lot more money and it takes a lot more creativity, but the economic aspect of it, by bringing this new product into your house, which is this refrigerator, you are able to sell choco banana, and then they could pay for itself, and then when they don't pay for it, you could continue to sell choco banana and the money is yours. So essentially, the refrigerator that you buy now, you have it now, but you pay as time goes by. That is a good thing. It is affordable, even if it costs more. It's affordable because you don't have a refrigerator. It's the same thing with land. This is a welcome development. This is a welcome development. And I always tell young people, especially those who start to work, even if you apply to Lands Department for a piece of land and you're waiting for your government land, I always say, do not just sit there to wait for Minister Cordell to sign your paper. Take $250, take $300 and start to put it towards one of these land. Right? The younger you struggle, the better it is for you when you are older. The younger you struggle. So if you want to struggle, if nobody wants to struggle, but if you will struggle when you're young, right? Struggle when you're young, when you don't have picnic to think about. You don't have all these utilities to think about because you're still in your ma house, you're still in your pa house, and you're working. Maybe you're at a call center. Take a portion of your money, stop the spree per weekend, and they have party, and they feel that you need to reward yourself at the end of the week. Reward yourself in 15 years' time or 10 years' time by having a piece of land. That's a better reward. And then the value of that land will constantly climb. You see? So what is being done at the Ministry of Natural Resources is extremely important in moving people out of poverty. So if you add health, where you keep your nation healthy, and then you add education, where now you are developing the minds of your people, and then you are making land available to them. Like, here's a formula for your personal success. So we might be able to say, well, the government cannot give you success, but the government can create the environment where if you are thinking, if you are willing to take the proper risk, the elements are there for your personal and individual success. The elements are there, you see? So the work that is done at the Lands Department is important. And the fact that you have this environment where land is available at affordable prices for the average Belizean. So most of the time before this, Belizeans could not be a part of a subdivision unless it was a government subdivision. But now Belizeans can be a part of many of these private subdivisions, and they don't have to be depending upon the Belizean American or on some American to come and purchase the property. So this is good. And it is one of the ways where personal wealth can be generated, right? So I did comment about the statement that he made when he said there are no new taxes. Well, there are no new taxes, but we are being taxed to hell and back. We are being taxed to hell and back. And if Belize does not switch to where it's getting its taxes from new industries, manufacturing, larger industries, exporting, etc., you will have to take up the tax, or we just remain where we are. You just stagnant. Then you got a Melchor to develop. Melchor move from dirt road to paved road to cement road to two-lane road, and then you come back to Belize every time and your place look the same. So there is a penalty also to no increased revenue. You might not increase tax, but are you increasing revenue? Because if you don't increase revenue, your country will remain underdeveloped. And I think that is what we are seeing. Because I always complain, the only people where they build in Belmopan are the Chinese, where they build these big structures. Belizeans are not building big structures. Born Belizeans are not building these huge structures. So we are not experiencing the wealth. We are not benefiting from the society. Now, those people who get land, what you do with it will determine your personal success. So that's it for this morning. It's 8:56 in the studios of PlusTV, and I gotta go start my day. Sometimes I don't feel like my day start when I rise and shine. That's a problem, because we don't put in a good solid hour and a half. And we put in a solid hour and a half. So yes, my day started already, but sometimes I don't feel like it till I get out and I go. So God bless you. It's always a pleasure to speak to you, Belize. See you tomorrow.
Sweet Belize, land of the sand and sea, land of the coconut tree. I love me sweet Belize. Sweet Belize, land of the islands and keys, land of the bar.